Some people walk into a room and suddenly every opportunity just seems to find them. Ever wondered why life seems to just work out for certain people, no matter what? You might think it's luck, the right connections, or just some magical it factor. But the truth is, there's a reason why some people attract success like a magnet, while others always feel stuck on the outside looking in. And it's not what you've been told in those cliché self-help books. Today, I'm going to break down exactly what's happening behind the scenes. I'll show you how to become the kind of person who draws success, real, lasting success, without faking it, pretending, or burning yourself out. We're talking simple shifts, real stories, and the kind of tools you can actually use in your daily life, starting right now. If you've ever felt invisible, like you're trying hard but nothing clicks, stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact steps to turn your mindset, habits, and energy into a magnet for the life you actually want. Let's get started. Have you ever looked at someone and thought, why does everything just fall into place for them while I'm stuck spinning my wheels? It's tempting to believe some people are born with a special talent, or maybe they just know the right people, or they've got a horseshoe tucked away somewhere for luck. But if you zoom out and really look at what's going on, it's not magic and it's not luck. It's something so ordinary, most people ignore it. And that's why so few ever change. Let's clear up the biggest myth right here. Success is not a lottery ticket. It's not about being in the right place at the right time, or waiting for some golden opportunity to land in your lap. The truth is, success is like gravity. It pulls toward people who are quietly, stubbornly building themselves every single day. Not flashy, not loud, just consistent. Think of it like planting a tree. You don't see results on day one. You don't even see much after the first few weeks. But those who keep watering the soil day after day are the ones who wake up one morning and realize, wow, this thing actually grew. Meanwhile, everyone else quit watering after the first week or never bothered to plant the seed at all. Here's something they never tell you in school. The most successful people you know are rarely the smartest in the room or the ones who got all A's. They're the ones who just kept showing up, even when they felt invisible. They built tiny habits that made them a little bit better each day, and over time, those little changes added up to something big. If you look closely, you'll notice a pattern. The people who attract success don't wait for motivation. They don't chase after approval. They focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally pulls good things their way. They show up, do the work, and trust that results will follow. Let me tell you a quick story. There's a guy named Mike. Mike was never the smartest kid in class. He never got straight A's, never won any awards. But he was the guy who stayed after practice, even when everyone else went home. He was the one who sent the extra emails, made the extra phone calls, asked for feedback even when it felt awkward. He didn't explode onto the scene with talent or luck. But little by little, people started to notice. Opportunities showed up. He got promotions, new friends, more respect. At first, everyone said, oh, Mike just got lucky. But if you watched closely, you'd see all the invisible effort that made that luck happen. And here's the best part. Every single person has that same ability. You don't have to be born with it. You just have to decide to start watering your own tree, even if nobody is watching. Success is attracted to people who quietly become more valuable every day. That's the secret nobody talks about. So, ask yourself, are you building those invisible habits that make people want to help you, recommend you, or offer you a shot? Or are you waiting for someone else to notice you first? Here's a little secret. Success finds the people who stop waiting and start building, even when it's slow, even when it's boring, even when nobody is cheering. Now, if you're thinking, okay, but what exactly should I start building? Good question. Let's dig deeper into what actually makes you a magnet for good things and how anyone, yes, anyone, can do it. Ready to see how this all works in real life? Let's keep going. Let's get really honest for a second. Most people think if they just do the right things, then they'll finally get the life they want. They chase after new habits, new apps, new routines. like picking up random tools at a hardware store and hoping one of them magically builds a house for them. But here's a truth that hits hard. You don't get what you want in life, you get what you are. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. The mirror doesn't show you what you hope for or what you're planning to become. It shows you who you really are right now. Life works the same way. You can dream about success all day, but if your identity is set to average, the world will treat you as average no matter what you wish for. Let's put it another way. If you see yourself as someone who's always late or always messing up or just not that lucky, your brain finds ways to make sure that story keeps playing out. You start acting like it's true. You don't try as hard, you don't take risks, and pretty soon, people around you start treating you like that person too. And the cycle just keeps going. But here's where things get interesting. You can change the script. You can actually decide, right now, to start seeing yourself as someone who attracts good things. It sounds simple, but it's huge. When you shift your identity, even just a little, the world starts to react differently. You start to do the things that kind of person would do. You show up on time. You finish what you start. You treat yourself with a little more respect. And guess what? Others do too. Think about people you respect, the ones who just seem to have it. Just seem to have it. They walk into a room and people listen. Not because they're loud or flashy, but because they carry themselves like someone worth paying attention to. That's not an accident. That's the result of small choices every day that add up to a new identity. There's an old story about an artist who wanted to paint a masterpiece, but every time he sat down to work, he told himself, "I'm not really a real artist yet, maybe someday." So, every painting ended up half finished, covered up, or hidden away. Years passed, and his walls were lined with almost masterpieces. One day, a friend asked, "When are you going to act like the artist you already are?" And that question flipped a switch. He started calling himself an artist, just in his own head at first, then with others. Suddenly, his work changed. He finished pieces, shared them, even sold a few, all because he decided to become the kind of person who finishes what he starts. It's the same for you and me. If you want to attract success, stop asking, "What should I do?" Start asking, "Who do I need to be?" Not someday. Now, maybe you want to be someone who's confident, or someone who keeps their promises, or just someone who tries even when it's scary. Start acting like that person, even if it feels weird at first. No, you're practicing. The more you practice, the more your brain and everyone around you starts to believe it's true. So, take a look in your own mirror tonight. Who do you see? And who do you want to see staring back at you a year from now? Because every day, every choice, every little decision is a brushstroke on the masterpiece of your life. And you get to hold the brush. Ready to start painting a new picture? Let's find out how even the smallest habits can make you the kind of person who attracts success step by step. Let's talk about habits for a second. Not the glamorous, headline-grabbing kind, like running a marathon or writing a book in a month. I'm talking about the tiny things, the invisible routines that you repeat so often you barely notice them. These small choices are like secret bricks in the foundation of your life. You can't see the house being built day by day, but one morning you look up and there it is, a whole new reality. Picture your life as a garden. Every day you get a handful of seeds. Some are good habits, like reading 10 pages, taking a walk, or saying thank you. Others are weeds, maybe checking your phone first thing, gossiping, skipping the gym. Whatever you plant and keep planting, that's what grows. At first, the difference between planting a seed or a weed seems tiny. But after a few months or a few years, your garden looks completely different. All because of what you did on those ordinary, nobody's watching days. Science actually backs this up. There's something called the aggregation of marginal gains. It means if you get just 1% better at something every day, those tiny improvements add up to massive results over time. Even the British cycling team, who hadn't won a Tour de France in over a century, used this idea. They focused on making tiny tweaks, better pillows for sleeping, cleaner hands to cut down on sickness, even slightly lighter bike paint. Within a few years, they started winning everything, all because they paid attention to the small stuff. Now, think about your own routines. What do you do every morning without even thinking? What about right before bed? Most people believe they need to overhaul their whole life to succeed. But honestly, just swapping out one small habit for a better one can trigger a ripple effect. Like choosing to stretch for 5 minutes instead of scrolling social media, or making your bed so your brain starts the day with a win. Sounds simple, right? But those tiny habits create momentum, and momentum is like rocket fuel for your confidence. Let's make it real. Maybe you've heard of habit stacking, GIS. It's where you attach a new, good habit to something you already do. Brush your teeth? Great. Use that as a cue to drink a glass of water. Eat breakfast? Perfect time to write down one thing you're grateful for. These don't take much effort, but over time, they completely shift the way you see yourself. Suddenly, you're the kind of person who takes care of themselves, who's grateful, who starts the day strong. And guess what? That energy leaks out into everything you do. Here's a little test. Take a look at your daily routines for just 1 week. Don't try to change them yet. Just notice, where are you planting seeds and where are you accidentally letting weeds take over? Most people never pay attention, so their habits run on autopilot. But you're going to start steering the ship. You don't have to go big. Just pick one tiny habit you can build this week. Maybe it's drinking more water, or reading a page before bed, or smiling at one person each morning. It feels small, almost silly, but that's the point. It's easy enough that you can actually stick with it. And the best part? That one little change can snowball, turning you into the kind of person who naturally attracts good things. So, don't underestimate the power of small, invisible choices. Success isn't a giant leap. It's a bunch of tiny steps stacked on top of each other. Keep stacking your wins, even if they feel tiny, and watch how your life starts to change in ways you never expected. Now, you might be thinking, but what about when I mess up or life gets in the way? That's normal, and honestly, it's part of the process. In the next part, let's talk about why most people stay stuck and how to break through when it feels like you're just spinning your wheels. Let's get real about something that almost nobody likes to talk about. It's that sinking feeling you get when you know you should do something important, but you keep putting it off. Or maybe you start out strong, full of energy and ideas, but after a few days or weeks, the excitement fades and suddenly you're back where you started. Sound familiar? You're not alone, not even close. Everyone, even the people you think have it all figured out, wrestle with this invisible wall. Here's the truth. Most people never admit. It's not usually a lack of talent or time that keeps people stuck. It's procrastination, self-doubt, and the comfort of staying in the same old routines. Your brain is wired to avoid pain, and sometimes that means avoiding anything new, anything uncertain, or anything that feels like a risk. That's why you can spend hours planning, dreaming, or even just scrolling through tips and tricks. But when it comes time to act, it feels like you hit quicksand. You sink back into your habits even when you know they're not helping you. Let's put it into a story. Picture a runner at the starting line, ready to sprint. The crowd is buzzing, the finish line is waiting. But just as the gun goes off, the runner suddenly remembers every time they tripped, every time someone laughed, every race they didn't win. Instead of running, they freeze, and the race is over before it even begins. That's how self-doubt works. It reminds you of the past, makes you afraid of what could go wrong, and convinces you to play it safe. But here's the wild part. Most of the time, the real pain isn't from trying and failing. It's from never trying at all. It's from watching life pass by, always wondering, what if I just took that step? Everyone has their own version of this story. Maybe you wanted to start a side hustle, but worried you weren't ready. Maybe you thought about asking for a raise, but talked yourself out of it. Maybe you wanted to reach out to someone new, but felt too awkward, so you let the moment slip by. Here's a secret nobody tells you. Success doesn't go to the person who's the most fearless or the most talented. It goes to the person who's willing to take action, even when it feels messy or uncertain or downright scary. The world is full of people with big dreams and even bigger excuses. But the people who attract success are the ones who act, even if their hands are shaking a little. Let's talk about comfort zones for a second. They feel safe, right? But that's the problem. Nothing ever grows there. Imagine a plant left in a tiny pot, roots all tangled up, leaves pressed against the sides. If it never gets repotted, it stops growing. Humans are the same. If you never challenge yourself, you'll never find out how far you can really go. So, what do you do when you feel stuck? First, notice it. Say it out loud. I feel stuck right now. That simple act takes away some of the power your mind has over you. Next, pick one tiny action, even if it feels silly. Send the email, write the first sentence, stand up and stretch. Momentum doesn't come from thinking. It comes from moving, even if it's just a little bit. If you mess up, so what? Everyone slips. The trick is to start again, as many times as you need. It's not about never getting stuck. It's about not staying stuck. So if you're in that place right now, just know you're in good company. Everyone gets stuck, but not everyone stays stuck. You have a choice every single day to do something different, no matter how small. And that tiny action might be the start of something way bigger than you imagine. In the next chapter, let's dive into the mindset that separates those who keep growing from those who stay in the same place year after year. It's time to talk about the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, and how you can switch sides starting today. Let's talk about something that can flip your whole world upside down if you really get it. It's called your mindset. But not just think positive or stick cheesy quotes on your fridge. I mean, the deep down story you believe about what's possible for you. There's something powerful called a growth mindset, and its sneaky twin, the fixed mindset. Here's the difference in plain English. A fixed mindset says, this is just who I am. I'm not good at math. I always mess up. I'm shy, I'm clumsy, I'm unlucky. It's like living in a house where every window is painted shut. No fresh air, no light, just the same old view, day after day. A growth mindset is the total opposite. It says, I can learn new things, even if I'm bad at them right now. I can get stronger, even if I mess up a lot first. I can change. All is like living in a house with open windows, sunlight pouring in, and every day you notice something new outside. Here's where it gets interesting. Scientists have actually studied this stuff. There's a famous researcher named Carol Dweck who found that kids who were praised for being smart started to avoid hard things. Why? Because messing up meant maybe they weren't smart after all. But kids who were praised for working hard or trying new things kept growing, kept learning, and actually did better in the long run. The same thing happens with adults too. When you believe you can get better with effort, you actually do. Let's make it real. Imagine you're trying to learn the guitar. You play a few sour notes and the fixed mindset pops up. See, you're just not musical. Why even bother? But with a growth mindset, you think, nobody is good at something the first day. If I keep practicing, I'll get better. Which person do you think actually learns to play music in the end? Exactly. This doesn't mean ignoring your mistakes or pretending everything is perfect. A growth mindset looks problems in the eye and says, what can I learn from this? It's the difference between I failed, so I'm a failure, and I failed, so I learned something. See the switch? Here's a little test. The next time you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, try adding one word, yet. I can't do this, yet. That tiny word keeps the door open. It reminds your brain there's still a chance to grow, still a chance to improve, no matter where you're starting from. You might be thinking, but I've always been this way. How do I actually change? The truth is, it starts with noticing your old story. Catch yourself when you fall into the, I'm just not good at this trap. Then, on purpose, choose a new story. I can get better. I can learn something new. I can grow. Over time, this new way of thinking becomes your default. And here's the wild part. When you believe growth is possible, you start to see opportunities everywhere. Setbacks turn into stepping stones, not roadblocks. You stop running from mistakes and start running toward new challenges, knowing every challenge is a chance to get stronger. So, take a minute and ask yourself, what's one thing you've been telling yourself you just can't do? What if, for the next week, you tried to add yet to that sentence every single time? You might be surprised by how fast things start to shift. Next up, we're going to dive into how to turn your biggest setbacks into comebacks, and why resilience is one of the most powerful tools for anyone who wants to become the person who attracts success. Let's get honest. Nobody makes it through life without tripping over a few cracks in the sidewalk. Setbacks, failures, disappointments, those rough days when nothing goes right, they're part of the deal. It's not about if you'll get knocked down, but how you'll get back up when it happens. And that's where resilience comes in. Resilience is like a rubber band. It stretches, it bends, sometimes it even gets tangled up. But as long as it doesn't snap, it bounces back to shape. People with resilience aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who keep standing up, again and again, even when it's hard. Let me tell you a story you probably know, but it's worth repeating. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 different publishers. She was broke, single, raising her daughter alone, and just about everyone told her to give up on her silly story about wizards. But she kept going. She kept sending out her manuscript, believing that someone, somewhere, would see what she saw. The 13th publisher finally said yes, and now her story is read all over the world. Or think about Thomas Edison. He's famous for inventing the light bulb, but what people forget is he tried over 1,000 different ways before finding one that worked. A reporter once asked him, "How did it feel to fail 1,000 times?" Edison said, "I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps." See, resilient people don't see failure as the end of the road. They see it as a stepping stone. Something to learn from, not run from. Maybe you've had a setback that knocked the wind out of you. A job you didn't get, a relationship that ended, a plan that fell apart. It stings, sometimes for a long time. But you get to choose what happens next. You can let the story end there, or you can pick up the pen and write the next chapter. Here's a simple way to start building resilience right now. Whenever something goes wrong, instead of asking, "Why me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" That tiny switch in thinking takes you out of the victim seat and puts you back in the driver's seat. It won't take away the pain or the disappointment, but it will give you a reason to keep moving forward. And don't be afraid to feel your feelings. It's okay to be sad, frustrated, even angry when things go sideways. But don't set up camp there. Let yourself feel it, then take a breath and ask, what's my next step? It might be something small, like making a phone call or writing down what you learned. But those little steps are what build strength over time. Remember, resilience is a skill, not a talent. You can practice it, just like lifting weights at the gym. Every time you get up after a setback, you get a little stronger, a little braver, a little more unstoppable. So, the next time life throws a curveball, try to see it as a test, not a final grade. Every comeback story starts with a setback, and you have everything you need to write your own. Coming up, let's explore the power of believing in yourself and why self-belief is the quiet force behind every person who attracts real, lasting success. Let's talk about one of the most powerful forces you can have in your life, and surprisingly, it's something you can build even if you've never had much before. It's self-belief, and it's the quiet engine behind every person you've ever seen achieve something big. Not the showy, look at me kind of confidence, but the steady, calm kind that says, I can handle this no matter what. Here's the thing most people get wrong. They think you need to have confidence before you do big things. But the truth is, confidence grows every time you do something, even if you're a little bit scared, even if you're not sure you're ready. It's like building muscle. You don't start with heavy weights. You start small, and with every little victory, your self-belief gets stronger. Think about Walt Disney. Early in his career, people told him he wasn't creative enough. They said his ideas were too weird, his dreams too big. He could have listened, but he kept going, pitching his stories, drawing his cartoons, learning from every no. He didn't wait to feel confident, he just kept taking steps, and the confidence came after. Or maybe think about something closer to home. Remember a time you learned to ride a bike? The first time, it felt impossible. You wobbled, fell, maybe even scraped your knees, but you got back up, and with every shaky start, every little improvement, you started to believe, hey, maybe I can do this after all. That's self-belief in action. Here's the trick. Self-belief isn't about being perfect or never having doubts. Everyone doubts themselves sometimes. But people who attract success are the ones who move forward anyway, who trust they can figure things out even if it takes a few tries. They know that failure isn't the end, it's just feedback. It's the world's way of helping you find a better way. So, how do you start building that kind of belief in yourself? Start with small promises. Keep them, even if they're tiny. If you say you're going to read for 5 minutes, do it. If you promise to show up on time, keep your word. Every promise you keep is like another brick in your foundation of confidence. And when you hear that little voice in your head saying, you can't, answer back, maybe not yet, but I'm learning. Over time, that voice gets quieter, and the voice that says, I can handle this, gets louder. Surround yourself with people who encourage you, but more importantly, become your own biggest supporter. Celebrate your small wins. Notice your progress, even if nobody else does. Because the truth is, the world usually believes in people who believe in themselves first. So if you've ever felt invisible, or like you're not enough, just remember, every success story starts with someone who decided to believe in themselves before anyone else did. You don't have to wait for someone to give you permission. You can give that to yourself. Next, we're going to uncover the real reason some people keep moving forward when everyone else gives up. It's not motivation or even luck. It's something way more powerful, and you can start building it today. Let's talk about discipline and why it's the quiet superpower behind every overnight success. Let's talk about something people usually misunderstand, or sometimes even try to avoid: discipline. Most people think discipline means being strict with yourself, or forcing yourself to work all the time, or living like a robot with no fun or freedom. But real discipline isn't about being miserable. It's actually the opposite. It's the habit that gives you more choices, more freedom, and, honestly, more success than almost anything else. Here's the simple truth. Motivation comes and goes. Sometimes you feel it, sometimes you don't. But discipline? That's what keeps you moving forward, even when you'd rather do anything else. Imagine you want to get healthier, or learn a new skill, or grow your business. At first, you're excited. You set big goals, buy new gear, maybe even brag a little to your friends. But after a few days, the motivation fades. Suddenly, that early morning run or late night study session doesn't sound so fun. This is where most people quit. But disciplined people, they keep going anyway. Here's a story you might relate to. Think about professional athletes. Sure, they're talented, but talent isn't what gets them up before sunrise or keeps them training after everyone else goes home. It's discipline. It's doing what needs to be done day after day, no matter what. That's why you see the results later on, not just in big moments, but in all those invisible hours when nobody was watching. Let's make it even simpler. Discipline is like brushing your teeth. You don't always feel like doing it, but you do it anyway because you know the long-term payoff. And after a while, it becomes automatic, just part of your routine. So, how do you actually build discipline, especially if it's not your natural strength? Start small, way smaller than you think. Pick one tiny thing you can do every day, like making your bed or turning off your phone for 5 minutes to focus. When you keep that promise to yourself, you send a message to your brain, I can trust myself to show up, and then you stack another small habit on top. Day by day, your discipline grows stronger. Some days, you'll want to quit. You'll mess up, or get bored, or feel like you're not making progress. That's normal. Nobody is disciplined all the time. But each time you get back on track, even after slipping, you make your discipline muscle even stronger. And here's a trick. Make your environment work for you. If you want to eat healthier, don't keep junk food in the house. If you want to read more, keep your book where you'll see it. Set yourself up to win, not to struggle. Discipline isn't about being harsh on yourself or never having fun. It's about having your own back, even when your mood changes. It's the bridge between what you want and what you actually get. So, if you want to be the person who attracts success, don't wait to feel motivated. Build discipline, one tiny step at a time, and watch how your results start to snowball. Next up, let's explore why continuous learning and being adaptable are the secret weapons that keep successful people ahead of the curve, no matter what life throws at them. Let's talk about something that separates the people who keep rising from the people who get left behind. It's not about having the best grades, or being the smartest person in the room, or even working the hardest. It's about learning, real, ongoing, lifelong learning, and being willing to adapt when life throws something new your way. Think about how fast the world changes. Just a few years ago, nobody was talking about smartphones, social media, or working from home. Now, those things are everywhere. Jobs appear and disappear overnight. Technology moves so fast, sometimes it feels impossible to keep up. But the people who keep attracting opportunities are the ones who are willing to keep learning, even when it's uncomfortable. Here's a simple example. Have you ever helped an older relative with a phone or a computer? At first, it seems impossible to them, and maybe they get frustrated. But the ones who are willing to try, to ask questions, to practice a little bit each day, suddenly start figuring it out. They go from saying, "I'll never understand this," to texting you funny emojis or sending emails on their own. It's not about age or talent, it's about willingness. And this doesn't just go for technology. Maybe your industry is changing. Maybe your friends or coworkers are picking up new skills, trying new hobbies, or changing their routines. If you're open to learning, reading a book, asking for help, watching a tutorial online, you're already ahead of most people who are stuck in their old ways. The key here is curiosity. Successful people are curious about the world. They ask questions. They try new things, even if they're bad at them at first. They know it's okay to feel awkward or slow at something new, because every master was once a beginner. Let's bring it down to earth. Imagine you're a tree. If you stop growing, you start dying. No tree just stands still. It's always reaching for more sunlight, sending its roots deeper, adjusting to the seasons. People who attract success are the same. They keep growing, no matter what's changing around them. And here's something most people don't realize. It's not enough to just collect information. Real learning happens when you use what you learn. Reading a book is good, but trying out an idea from that book is even better. Watching a video is helpful, but taking action on what you learned is where the magic happens. So, how can you become a better learner? First, notice when you get uncomfortable with something new. Instead of running from that feeling, get curious about it. Ask, what can I learn here? Make it a habit to read, listen, and try new things, even if it's just for 5 minutes a day. And be willing to change your mind. It's okay to update your beliefs or switch directions if you discover a better way. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who are always right. They're the ones who are willing to be wrong, learn something new, and move forward stronger. So, if you want to keep attracting success, keep your mind open. Stay hungry for new ideas, new skills, new challenges. Because the world isn't slowing down, and the people who keep learning will always find a way to win no matter what happens next. In the next chapter, let's talk about one of the biggest hidden factors behind success: the people you spend time with. Your circle can lift you up or hold you back. Let's find out how to build a support system that helps you grow even faster. Let's talk about something that might be shaping your future even more than your habits or your goals. It's the people you spend your time with, your circle, your crew, your inner team. Whether you realize it or not, your environment has a massive impact on who you become and what you believe is possible. There's a saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. At first, that sounds kind of silly. But think about it for a second. If your friends are always complaining, making excuses, or settling for less, it's easy to fall into the same patterns. You start to see the world through their eyes. But if you hang out with people who push themselves, try new things, or encourage you to dream bigger, suddenly your own bar gets higher too. Here's a quick story. Imagine two people start a new job at the same company. One makes friends with coworkers who slack off, gossip, and do just enough to not get fired. The other connects with people who show up early, ask for feedback, and look for ways to improve. Give it a year and see which one is getting the promotions, learning new skills, and feeling good about their progress. Most of the time, it's not about talent. It's about who's around them, shaping their daily choices. Let's make it personal. Take a minute and think about your own circle. Who cheers you on? Who drains your energy? Who challenges you to level up? And who keeps you stuck in old habits? It's not about judging people or thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about being intentional with your time and your energy. Sometimes you'll outgrow certain friendships. That's not a bad thing. It just means you're changing, and that's what growth looks like. Other times, you might need to look for new influences, maybe a mentor, a mastermind group, or even just watching videos and reading books from people who inspire you. If you want to become the kind of person who attracts success, start surrounding yourself with people who are already heading in that direction. Energy is contagious. Energy is contagious. You'll start to notice when you spend more time with positive, motivated people, you naturally become more positive and motivated yourself. And the opposite is true too. If you're always around negativity, it can start to feel normal. Don't be afraid to set boundaries. You don't owe anyone your time or your dreams. You can still care about people without letting their habits and beliefs shape your future. Protect your energy like you'd protect anything valuable, because it truly is. Here's a challenge for you. This week, reach out to someone who inspires you, or spend a little less time with someone who drags you down. Notice how it feels and see what changes in your mindset and motivation. In the next chapter, let's dig into a powerful shift you can make in your thinking. Moving from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. This one change can open more doors than you ever imagined. Let's find out how to make the switch. Let's talk about your mindset, and not just any mindset, but the way you see the world when things get tough, or when someone else wins, or when opportunities seem far away. There are two main ways people look at life, with a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset. A scarcity mindset says there's only so much to go around. If someone else gets a big break, you feel like there's less left for you. If your friend gets a promotion, you secretly feel a little jealous or left behind. You start to worry that good things are limited and you better grab your piece before it's gone. That kind of thinking leads to fear, competition, and sometimes even resentment. But there's a different way to see the world, an abundance mindset. This mindset says there's more than enough for everyone. If someone else succeeds, it doesn't take away from your chance to win. In fact, it proves that success is possible and that you can learn, grow, and find your own opportunities too. People with an abundance mindset celebrate others' wins, look for solutions instead of problems, and see challenges as chances to learn. Let's make it real. Imagine two people looking for jobs. The first sees every rejection as proof that there are no opportunities left, and each no feels like a personal failure. The second person treats each no as feedback and believes a yes is still out there, maybe even a better one. They keep learning, keep showing up, and often they're the ones who land a job when others have already given up. This shift isn't just thinking positive or pretending everything is perfect. It's about seeing opportunities where others see obstacles and knowing that someone else's success can light the way for you, not block your path. Science even backs this up. Studies show people who focus on solutions, practice gratitude, and expect good things are more creative, persistent, and successful over time. How do you start building an abundance mindset? First, catch yourself when you feel envy or when you think, "I'll never get a shot like that." Instead, try saying, "If they can do it, so can I." Start practicing gratitude for what you already have, even if it's small. Write down 3 things you're thankful for each night before bed. This simple habit rewires your brain to notice the good, not just the problems. Also, look for chances to help others win. Share your knowledge, cheer on a friend, or help someone with a challenge. The more you give, the more you start to see opportunities coming your way, sometimes in ways you'd never expect. So, take a look at how you view the world. Are you counting your blessings or counting your problems? Are you competing with everyone or learning from them? That one switch from scarcity to abundance could be the key that changes everything. In the next chapter, let's explore something that gives your success energy and direction, finding your passion and purpose. You'll see why this combo is the real fuel for a life that attracts good things and keeps you moving forward, even on hard days. Let's talk about something that can change the whole way you move through life. It's the mix of passion and purpose, the fire that gets you out of bed and the compass that keeps you heading in the right direction. A lot of people think passion is just about excitement, like fireworks or cheering crowds. But real passion is quieter, deeper. It's that thing you can't stop thinking about, that makes you forget to check your phone or lose track of time when you're doing it. But passion on its own is only part of the story. Purpose is what gives passion a reason to keep going, especially when things get tough. Think of passion as the gas in your car and purpose as the map that tells you where to drive. You need both to really get anywhere worth going. Let's break it down with a story. Imagine two people working long hours. The first is just there for the paycheck. Each day feels like a repeat of the last, and when things go wrong, motivation fades fast. The second person works just as hard, maybe even harder, but they're doing something that matters to them, helping others, building something new, making a difference, even in a small way. When challenges show up, they feel tired, sure, but they don't quit. They know what they're working for, and that keeps the fire burning even when the days are long. Finding your passion and purpose doesn't mean you have to save the world or start a company. Sometimes it's about paying attention to what makes you come alive. What are the moments when you feel most yourself? What do you love to talk about or learn about or help others with? These are clues to what matters to you. For the next week, keep a little notebook or make a note on your phone. Every time you feel excited, proud, or truly happy doing something, even if it's small, write it down. You might be surprised by what shows up. Over time, a pattern will start to appear. That pattern is a signal to your passion and maybe even your deeper purpose. Now, how do you put purpose into action? Ask yourself, how can I use what I love to help someone else? Maybe you're good at listening or making people laugh or fixing things. When you use your strengths to make a difference, even in tiny ways, you'll notice a shift. Your days have more meaning, your challenges feel more worth it, and people start to notice your energy and commitment. Remember, you don't have to have it all figured out right away. Passion and purpose can grow and change as you do. What matters is that you stay curious, keep trying new things, and listen to what feels right to you. When you combine the spark of passion with the direction of purpose, you become nearly unstoppable. People are drawn to your energy, and you attract opportunities that line up with who you really are. Up next, let's connect everything you've learned so far and see how taking real, consistent action is the final bridge between your dreams and your new reality. This is where your habits, mindset, and purpose all come together to help you become the person who truly attracts success. Here's a truth most people ignore. Action is the real difference maker. You can have the best ideas, a heart full of passion, and even a detailed plan. But if you never take action, nothing in your life changes. The gap between wishing and having is always crossed by doing, not just thinking. Think back to a time when you wanted something, maybe to learn a new skill, get in shape, or start a new project. At first, you probably made a plan, maybe even talked to a friend or watched a bunch of videos online. But when did things actually start to shift? It was the day you took that first step, even if it was messy, small, or not perfect. There's an old saying, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. The people who attract success are not the ones who wait for the perfect moment, the right mood, or for every little thing to fall into place. They jump in, try things, make mistakes, and learn on the go. Here's a simple way to look at it. Imagine building a bridge over a river. You can measure, plan, and dream about the other side all you want, but until you lay down the first plank, you're still standing on the bank. Each small action is another plank, and before you know it, you're walking toward your goal. Success stories are built on thousands of tiny, often invisible actions. No one sees the hours spent practicing, the late nights, or the early mornings, but those are the moments when dreams become reality. When you act, even in a small way, you start building momentum. Momentum is powerful because it makes the next step a little bit easier, and the step after that even easier. Sometimes you'll take a step and things won't work out. You'll mess up, lose motivation, or feel like you're not getting anywhere. That's normal. That's normal. The key is to keep going, to keep laying those planks, even when you don't see results right away. One of the biggest traps is waiting until you feel ready. The truth is, you almost never feel totally ready to start something new. But starting is what makes you ready. Every action you take, no matter how small, is proof to yourself that you can do hard things. Here's something you can try right now. Pick one goal you've been putting off and take the smallest possible action toward it today. Send an email, write the first paragraph, go for a 10-minute walk. Don't worry about doing it perfectly, just do something. You might be surprised how much lighter you feel once you've started. People who attract success are not fearless, and they're not perfect. They're just willing to act, even when it's uncomfortable or uncertain. They know that the only way to build confidence and create results is to get moving. So, as you think about your own dreams, remember, the world rewards action. Every step counts, and every bit of progress builds your new story. Next, let's wrap things up by pulling together everything you've learned and see how you can put these tools into action, not just today, but every day, so you can truly become the person who attracts success. By now, you've seen that attracting success isn't about luck, perfect timing, or being born with some secret advantage. It's about who you become, what you believe, and most importantly, what you do day after day, even when no one else is watching. Your habits, your mindset, your circle, your ability to bounce back, your passion, and your willingness to take action. They all add up to the person you are shaping right now. Maybe you've recognized old patterns or excuses that have been holding you back. Maybe you spotted small changes you can start today, even if they feel almost too simple. The truth is, the biggest breakthroughs always start with small steps and quiet decisions, not grand gestures. Remember, you get to write your own story. Every morning is a blank page. You can choose to show up a little differently, to make a new habit stick, to reach out to someone positive, or to take the tiniest step toward your next goal. Some days will feel easy, and others will feel like you're pushing a boulder uphill. That's normal. What matters is that you keep moving, keep learning, and keep growing, even if it's just a little at a time. If you ever doubt yourself, go back to the basics. Notice your habits. Change your environment. Reach out for support. Remember why you started and give yourself permission to try again. Success is attracted to people who decide every day to keep becoming more of the person they want to be. Not by chasing results or waiting for permission, but by building a life that fits the vision you have for yourself. So as you head into the rest of your day, ask yourself, what's one thing you can do right now to move just a little bit closer to the life you want? That step is enough, because each step leads to the next. And if you want to keep learning, growing, and building that momentum, make sure to watch the next video popping up on your screen. Your future self is already cheering you on. If you got value from this, make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss a new video. And if you're ready for your next breakthrough, click the video on your screen and let's keep moving forward together. Your journey to success is just getting started.